Well, there is an app for just about everything these days.
That's right. And some of you may use health apps to count calories or manage medications, but Jennifer Krause found out to use some of them, you need to hand over a whole lot of information first. So, Jennifer, what's the real concern here?
Well, you think that private information that you share with these apps is going to be kept private, but millions of women are now discovering that the information they shared with one particular app was also shared with other companies. More than 19 million women in the U.S. have downloaded the Flow app, which tracks menstrual cycles and pregnancies, and often includes women's plans to get pregnant or problems they've had getting or being pregnant. All of it personal information many women don't want to share.
Data, so it was breaking its promises to users to keep their most private health information secret.
Miles Plant is an attorney with the Federal Trade Commission's Division of Privacy and Identity Protection, which recently went after Flow after it was discovered that the company repeatedly promised to protect women's information and keep it secret, and yet it didn't.
It was actually sharing it with a number of companies, including Facebook and Google, for a variety of purposes, and it wasn't doing anything to limit those companies' use of that data. So
Plant says it's important to remember there are risks that come with using apps, including the risk that your personal information will be shared and used to send targeted ads. It's possible even that certain health information could be used to, say, deny you a loan or even a job. So before you download an app, do some research.
You should comparison shop. When you're thinking about a type of an app, you can look at different apps in the App Store that provide the same service and look at the ratings. And then there are a lot of outside companies and newspapers and media vendors that evaluate different apps and compare them on privacy and functionality and that type of thing. And those are really important tools.
And make sure you know what data the app is collecting and what it's doing with it, how much of your information will be shared and with whom. And don't stop there.
And I know that it's easy to download an app, right, and start handing off this information. And it seems like a lot of work sometimes to double check what you're doing. But there's some low-hanging fruit that we can all do, which is to protect ourselves, and that's update our phones, update our apps all the time to make sure we have the most up-to-date privacy and security protections in place. And then within your phone on the settings, you can just update some of the most basic settings to limit what data is being shared with companies. And then
Now, under the settlement with the Federal Trade Commission, Flow now has to get users' permission first before they share any of that information. To find an app's privacy policy, you want to go to the App Store and you should find a link there. But of course, those privacy policies are notorious for being long and complicated. You scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and finally hit I agree, and you really have no idea what you've signed. That's why the Federal Trade Commission now is pushing companies to be more transparent, to make these agreements easier to understand so that we all have a better idea of what information is being given away. Rebecca.